So right now we're at EDMBiz and the business of electronic dance music. Did you ever think that things would move in this way when you just wanted a spot at a club, originally? You wanted to be there before you became a brand, before you became, merchandising and shirts and things.
No, not really. Of course, I would lie if I say that I had an exact business plan behind all this. I get at the end of the day, we're on this for the love of the music, not for business or something. But I don't think it hurts that if you want to get your name out there, if you want to play good music, that you need some business behind you. You need a team around you. You need to have you need to create a following. You need to create a fan base. I'm very loyal to my fans, and so, fans are loyal to me. So you need a little business to do that, right? I guess.
How many shows are you hitting a year now, let's say?
On average between 100 and 120. I used to do 150 to 160, but I have 2 kids now, so I want to see them. I want to be a dad as well.
You used to want to come home when there's one off ready to go, to 18 and been gone already. You're like, where did it go?
Yeah. I've already feel like I missed a lot of the upbringing of my kids, but I love my family, but I also love dance music, and I love to play and perform for my fans. So it's been a crazy ride so far.
What has 2016 brought you so far this year?
2016 has been an incredible year. I launched my new Armin Only Embrace tour, which is the biggest project I've ever done, touring around the world with 35 people, including a band, 6 singers, 8 dancers. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's all based around the album I released last year, Embrace. And State of Trance celebrated episode 750, which was another milestone. 15 years on the air with the radio show. And I'm releasing 2 mini albums this year. One coming up really soon called Old School, and later on Club Embrace, which is super exciting. Just released my new single, for which I threw my entire company out of an airplane. That was fun to do. The track's called Free Fall, so you have to check out the video to see how that went. They didn't know anything about it, so it was fun.
Were some of them trying I don't need this job, I don't need this match, or everyone just took it in stride and went for it?
Well, we were thinking about a concept for the Free Fall track, and free fall. You know what free fall means. Yeah. So I was like, wouldn't it just be fun to make not an animated or a pre-programmed video or a scripted video, but really just walk into the office with a camera and say, look, guys, we're going to jump out of an airplane today. And we did. It's fun. It was so much fun. Obviously, there are some pregnant people in our office and some people not fit to jump, but...
Baby's first flight.
And we had 23 people jumping with us. And I had to jump twice, of course, because of the video shoot.
Right.
And it was so much fun to do. So, but the video's on YouTube, so you can check it out.
I actually saw a little piece of that too, so I now make the connection to exactly what it was. One thing I could say is last year I've seen you over the years at EDC, and sometimes I have a camera with me, sometimes I'm just kind of enjoying it, but I've zoomed in on your face and I've seen you just going at it. When you have these crowds that come from multitudes of areas, and especially when they have you like checkmarked on a list, like what is the I guess the representation of you having to deliver to them, because they came for you, they came for this. Do you feel like you owe them something, or do you just feel like you want them to come with you?
Well, I'm playing for them. I'm not playing for myself, because then I would be playing different music.
What music?
I'm really into ambient dub. Really funny. I guess it's nerd music. Recently, I've really fell in love with Helios and OTT. Check them out. Super. That's the kind of music I love to listen to. But I also listen to everything. I'm just open-minded. I love to listen to Coldplay or just a new Beyonce album. But mainly, my heart is with trance. That's really that's what I listen to most. That's just what I love. So, yeah. To answer your question, I don't feel like I understand now, after being in the business for such a long time, that the fact that people appreciate what I do also means that I should do what I want, because otherwise they wouldn't have voted me #1 DJ in DJ Mag. They want to see Armin Van Buuren. So sometimes in my early days as a DJ, I try to play tracks that were not really me or something. And now I just play music that I see working in a crowd, and I just work with the majority of people. I like to play music that I like and that gets the crowd going. So there's two things that are very important to me and that touches people. You know, trance is my main sound. It's all about the melody, and it's very emotional, and very emotional music.
Now, I talked to a couple people about it already. I remember first stepping into my first rave. Do you remember that first underground experience when
Yeah,
you walked
absolutely.
in?
Yeah.
You know, what was your first thought when you came to us and you kind of just saw what people were at that point?
Well, I was in awe of the DJs. You know, I idolized my heroes back then: Marcelo, Dimitri, Roland Molendijk, the Goodman, who are now Chocolate Puma. They were doing a live. My first event was 1993. And the Jaarbeurs in Utrecht. Actually, you want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
On my last album, there's a track called Old School, which is a dedication to the very, very early sounds of house music, because it was only called house music. It had no trance techno.
Right.
It was all house music.
Unless it was Latin house, then it was different. Or-
Yeah, well, you know, the first rave sounds were, I wasn't old enough to go clubbing yet, but tracks like The Ultimate Seduction and Dominator, Speedy J Pullover, it was all fun. It was all very ravey. It was very, you know, I miss that. So what I'm doing pretty soon, I'm releasing a mini album called Old School, which has reworked versions of those classics that really got me into. It was way before trance and stuff, and I just felt the need to update those tracks and to really grasp the original feel of the track, but just, you know, update the sounds to 2016. So, you know, it's for the new generation to enjoy, because a lot of people are not aware of the fact that it started somewhere. This whole dance music thing had a beginning.
Right, because the music was there already. It's just that they're using different pieces to get the same kind of emotion out of you, almost a little bit.
Well, technology has progressed. I mean, the way we make dance music right now is radically different than in the beginning. You know, it used to be all outboard gear, drum computers, synthesizers, the very first samplers, and one big MIDI sequencer. And now most people make their tracks in Ableton on a laptop. You know, so it's a really radical different. The sound now is a lot better. I mean, than back then. Everything that we know now, the samples are better. You know, the compressors are better. You know, of course, I like a lot of old school compressors, but in general, I think the sound now is a lot better than it used to be. But there was something spontaneous about those first days of dance music. There was something raw, because there was no direction. You know, there were no rules. And right now, with all the subgenres, you know, and every subgenre has their following, which is great. I mean, I love trance, and you know, some people are really fond of one specific sound, which is, you know, there's nothing wrong about that. But as an artist, I always try to look a little bit over my own safe haven and you know, see what my neighbors were doing and see if I can get inspiration from that. Because if you look at the history of music, for example, the Beatles on Sgt. Pepper started using a Moog synthesizer, which at that point was considered a devilish instrument. But it made their album new. It was fresh. You know, again, I think if you look through the history of music, nothing's ever fixed. It's always mixing and merging of styles. To me, dubstep is a combination of, you know, the UK garage sound, speed garage with jungle and all those elements, you know. And this is my prediction for the future as well. The styles will keep mixing and merging. Right now you see a lot of influence from psytrance sound into the real uplifting trance sound. So this is exciting, man. It's exciting to be part of that.
Now, you were talking about all the different mergers and technology, but in the history as well. But how about the history of you? Was there something that you, like when you were young, before experience hit you, you were trying something that was way off the wall, that just didn't work? Like, do you remember anything like that? That was just, it just wasn't gonna work, but you wanted it so badly. Like a sound, or even just, you know, sampling a certain sound that you wanted to get in somehow.
Let me just start by saying that, you know, if I made records for 25 years, and I'm not as equally proud of every release I've ever done, you know. Let's just keep it at that. But yeah, I guess you have to start somewhere. I mean, my first studio setup was very basic. You know, I didn't even have EQ on every fader. I only had one effect. It was either a reverb or a delay. There was no re-recording possibility. There was no stems. It was just basically all this outboard equipment, you know, all mixed into one disco mixer with one effect and all going into a DAT machine. That was it. So, you know, you work with the tools that you have, but in a way you also become creative because you know that you're limited by your tools. So you have to be creative in the way that you use them. So I actually find that, I know that now. You have to limit yourself. I mean, there's so many plugins out there now and so many possibilities of making music. I mean, a lot of fans ask me, what kind of DAW are you using? Are you using FL Studio? Or are you using Digital Performer? Whatever. I always say it's not about the kitchen. It's about the chef. You know, it's
Right.
about your initial idea. It's about the emotion you want to put into a track. And of course, it's very important to know your DAW very well.
Right.
But there's no golden way in music. I mean, my philosophy's always been rule number one: there are no rules in music. And rule number
Right.
two: see rule number one.
Right.
Because that's so essential. I mean, this is very important to realize that there are no rules in art. I mean, who decides what is right or wrong? The crowd decides if they're right. And even if the crowd is not digging your tune, it's still your tune, you know? It's still something that comes from your heart. So you have to always respect that.
The last thing is, you're walking up for your first DJ set. What would you now tell yourself there before you started that first record, you know, on that first stage?
Go get him. I used to get so extremely nervous for every set. I mean, I wasn't able to talk half hour before my set, but I just started to learn very, very simple that I try to dig into what I would be like if I was standing on the dance floor that I was playing for now. I mean, I've been a raver or a punter myself for so many years, and I've been to so many shows that I kind of know how that feels. You know, everybody's standing there at a party. They have expectations. They want to go crazy. How do you translate that? And you know, try to have fun. Try to be yourself. Don't try to be somebody you're not. And try to play something that comes from your heart. Because you know, this goes for acting or this goes for being a musician. People are not stupid. They can see if something is real. You know,
Right.
if you're really enjoying the music. And I think maybe that's the best advice to answer your question. Is just try to be genuine about it.
Yeah.
Because people are not stupid. They can see if something is real.
Right. Find the music, not the lifestyle.
Exactly.
Very cool. Well, I thank you very much.
Thank you.
EDC is about to begin, and yeah, as you've seen, Las Vegas is already filled. So I guess all I can say is have a great weekend.
Thank you so much. Thank
Pleasure.
you, man.
Thank you.